Hey, Dr. Isaac Jones here, and today I want to talk to you about the 9 qualities of successful virtual practice and practitioner owners. So I'm excited to talk to you about this because I've been in virtual practice for the last 10 plus years, and now I've coached over the last 8 years hundreds and now over 1,000 plus doctors that have been through my online events and have gone through some of my trainings. And we have literally pioneered the virtual practice space. We've also gotten data, literally hundreds and hundreds of data sets on the most successful virtual practices and the most challenged virtual practices. Why is it that they weren't successful? And why are the ones that are successful, why are they thriving? And so I want to share some of those insights with you today. Obviously, we can't get into everything, and that's why I really have invested my life's work into this space. This is the future of healthcare. But there are over 1 million doctors in America. And unless you're seeing 477 patients per day, there's no way that you're going to outrank your competition as a quote unquote regular doctor by regular doctor standards. And so it's time to think differently. It's time to think out of the box. And that's why virtual practice is important. It's something that is necessary, is needed right now. And so one of the reasons why people don't necessarily want to go virtual is because they don't understand how to integrate the technology and translate their expertise into the virtual space. And so I want to get into these 9 steps because I think it's essential for you to really understand these elements because they will truly help you be a lot more successful, help a lot more people, make a bigger impact, make more income, and ultimately, if you follow the systems that we teach, you'll also create more time freedom and freedom to be with your family, to travel the world and run your business, which is something that we've seen so many times. So number one successful quality, it's not necessarily in order of most important, but it's virtual bedside manner, right? So what can you do to elevate your ability to serve people in the virtual space? If you think about going into, a doctor's office, doctors typically are never on time and patients have to wait. There's a lot of waiting. So this is a huge opportunity, just as one example, for you to be on time, for calls. There's no waits virtual with my practice over the last 10 plus years, as well as all the doctors that I coach and train. We implement all these customer experience wow strategies that are next level, but you ultimately need to adopt a new understanding of service-centered healthcare. And that really translates into a really powerful virtual bedside manner. And one of those elements is being on time. Number 2 is delegation. It's your ability to understand what your strengths are and then also delegate your weaknesses, understanding what your weaknesses are. But the doctors that do this successfully to start, they do this economically. They're not like breaking the bank when they're getting started. They literally, when I got started, I just hired somebody just a few hours per week to help out. And it was dramatic how much it freed up my time and created a lot of momentum and success for me. So, if you can't delegate, ultimately, I don't believe you'll ever live up to your potential. We need to understand what our strengths are. We need to understand what our weaknesses are, and then get other people to really focus on our weaknesses. I've not been in my email for years now. I have not done, other than just responding to super important emails. I've essentially delegated so many of the day-to-day operations so that I can be with my family and create an opportunity to run faster and scale. And the other way you can delegate is through technology. There's all these systems automation that you can implement that run while you're sleeping, that help you make money while you're sleeping. So that's another thing that successful virtual practice owners really embrace, is this concept of delegation. The third is embracing technology. Technology is your friend. Embracing the ERM platforms, embracing the way that you can get people to sign your health coaching policies or the various legal documentation all digitally without you having to even get on phone calls or anything along those lines. There's all these different ways that now you can learn to scale and to grow. And so the successful virtual health practitioners, they really embrace technology because they know that in order to run a self-automated business, which is what's possible with virtual practice and building an online brand that has residual streams of income attached to it, they need to embrace technology, and it doesn't need to be complicated. You have to recognize, we have a video on how technology doesn't need to be complicated, so check that one out, but it doesn't need to be complicated. You can literally take step 2, which is delegate properly, to what my friend calls little like YouTube geniuses that don't really have a huge following, but they're geniuses on YouTube, and you kind of like find these people that are good with tech. You're not good with tech, they take over, and then obviously they can help you go a lot further faster. So embrace and work with technology. Don't be afraid of it. Lean into it. Even if you're in your 60s or 70s, we have doctors in their 70s that are embracing technology, and they're literally crushing it. You should see the results that they're getting and the revenue that they're generating. The other thing, number 4, is possibility mindset. So possibility mindset is really believing in yourself and the opportunity that exists in the virtual space. And the difference between people that thrive in this space and people that don't is that the people that don't, they're overanalyzing, and then they really beat themselves up internally, and they're like, you know what, I can't do this. There's no way that I can do this. And ultimately they never create progress because their mindset says that they ultimately can't do it. Now, the people that are successful, they still have limiting beliefs, but they take action, and then they learn from their mistakes. They learn from the action that they're taking. This is the key kind of principle of entrepreneurial success, and what Carol Dweck talks about in her book, Growth Mindset, where growth-minded individuals are the most successful entrepreneurs and doctors in the world because they learn from taking action. And so if you're not taking action, you're not on the court playing ball, you're on the bleachers, and you never get better playing basketball, you never get better playing sports when you're on the bleachers. You got to get on the field. So there's one individual that that struggled through the COVID challenges, and what ended up happening was he reached out to me and was like, Isaac, I'm struggling financially. I don't know how I'm going to even make my overhead. And so we created a strategy for him to essentially translate what he was doing virtually, in his functional medicine / chiropractic office into the virtual practice space. And immediately he started generating in around 2 to 3 months, over 6 figures a month in residual income. Get that, residual income. So, he had the possibility mindset, like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to take action. And then we tweaked and optimized along the way. So that was number 4. Number 5 is strong brand focus. This is huge, okay? When you go online, ultimately people connect with you emotionally. People want to engage with you emotionally. And so they're interacting with you, and that is ultimately what your brand is. It's the kind of emotional aspect of who they're connecting with. Because before they actually connect with you, in your webinar or live and in person in an initial consultation or in like a group kind of sales platform that you've created or whatever it may be that you're getting people to convert in, they need to know, like, and trust you. And that comes down to understanding your brand image, and understanding that your brand is the emotional connection that people have to it. So having a focus on that aspect and really looking at it as something that is very essential is important. So most docs try to grow their practice by getting better in their trade. Like, I'm just going to continue to get more certifications. I'm going to continue to read more books. And that's great. I think that's awesome. I do the same thing. I've just invested in $45,000 into a private future of healthcare mastermind with the top researchers and scientists and doctors in the world. And so there's a small group of us. They're the top celebrity doctors that you probably see on television, online, etc. But that's something that I'm committed to as well. But here's the reality: is that it's like a roofer that says, I'm going to grow my business by learning how to swing the hammer better, right? Unfortunately, there's doctors out there, there's health professionals out there that don't know how to swing a hammer very well, but their focus is on brand and brand image, and people will end up working with them even though their quality isn't as good because they have a focus on branding, they have a focus on how they show up in the community with marketing, etc. That's the same when you go online. You could be a really talented doctor, but if you don't also focus on your brand and how you connect with people emotionally, that's going to be a huge downfall. So that's number 5. Number 6 is strategy driven. So having a proven roadmap to follow that creates predictable success. This is exactly what we do at Health Experts Alliance. We have created these roadmaps, these virtual success blueprints, right? We've helped launch several 7-figure, 8-figure, and even 9-figure supplement companies, digital education brands, as well as virtual practices. This is what we specialize in. I'm an owner in the fastest natural health growth brand in America. I'm one of the top investors in that company. And I also have built an incubator of the fastest growth health companies in the world. And so ultimately, I see firsthand every single day. I'm in conversations with these people. I'm learning about different industries, different niches, etc. I'm learning about virtual practice. I'm learning about digital branding, and obviously, I've done it myself. I have, a launch that's happening right now. That also, our goal is around 4.5 million in revenue next month, and I would be very surprised if we did not hit that next month. So, this is stuff that we live and breathe. How can we help health experts get their messages out there to magnify their impact to more and more people around the world and take their gifts, talents, and abilities, their creative mind, their innovative hearts, and get it out there so they can serve more people in a way that's also very scalable and profitable. So strategy is where it comes down to, and you've got to understand that following a proven roadmap and surrounding yourself with people that have built those roadmaps and are constantly in the game, right? It creates clarity. It decreases anxiety. It decreases the amount of pain and suffering with all the opportunity costs of your time and money making mistakes to the tune of some doctors making mistakes that are 6 figures that I've connected with lately. I'm like, oh my gosh, like you've spent, it's not an investment, it's really an expense when you're spending all this time and money in strategies that don't work. And then the last thing is you want to ultimately be the hero to a tribe, right? Be the hero to a tribe. This gives you direction. Understanding who your niche is, it really helps create a lot more stickiness to your brand, because people will come to your website and then they'll be like, oh my gosh, like this is my people. This is the person that I want to learn from. And your audience ultimately can't grow if you are not understanding who you're actually communicating to, who your customer persona or what people call avatar is. And you don't need to figure that out right away. Know that if you just get on the court and play ball, like for the first 3 years, I was just working with anybody with a pulse. So get in the virtual space. You can figure that out later, but this is a quality of very successful virtual health practitioners that really create a lot of momentum. Once they get on the court, they start playing ball, they take imperfect action, they learn from it, they follow proven strategies, etc. So let's review what we just talked about. Number 1 is they have really good virtual bedside manner. Number 2 is they know how to delegate, which is very important. Number 3 is they embrace and work with technology, right? And they know that they don't necessarily have to make it complicated. There's simple strategies to implement technology, no matter how old you are or how young you are. Number 4 is possibility mindset, like my friend Jason that built a 6-figure residual income generating business in such a short period of time. Number 5 is strong brand focus. This is all about the emotional connection people have to you. And that really ties into number 6, which is being strategy driven, following a proven roadmap, modeling other people's successes. And number 7, which is being the hero to a tribe, right? And again, that's not something you need to do right away. It's something that you can figure out a little bit later on. So that is the 7 qualities of a really successful virtual health care practitioner. And there's a couple of other things I'd love to get into, but just stick with us with these videos because I'm going to continue to add a lot of value to you based off of our market research in the space. We are on the cutting edge. We are the best in the world when it comes to virtual practice success as well as online success for doctors, right? This is what we do. This is our space. This is what we've done over the years. And look, like I said before, I'm the top investor in one of the largest natural health brands in the world. One of the top investors, number 2, I think. And then I'm also, I've also built incubators and masterminds where we've seen the fastest growth natural health companies and virtual practices with amazing success. So we know what it takes to get to where you ultimately want to get to. So stick with us, stick with our tribe. Thanks for watching the video and look forward to adding more value to you in the near future. Thanks so much.